Yes, I hope that I am completely audible now. If I am audible, you can see me and hear me. You can chat, you can reply. Yes, okay, great. You can see the screen, everybody. The screen is completely visible to you. Okay, okay, great, great, great. Okay, so now let us start. Good evening again. So consistency, as I have already told you, that consistency is the name of the game. So that is why what you have to do is basically you have to keep on doing your assignments very very properly. I can still see that some of them are not submitting their assignments. I don't really know why they are not submitting their assignments. So आपके assignments please आप submit करो, ताकि क्या होगा, you can do the peer reviews and everybody can see what is the quality of the assignments and everybody can improve their level. So again, a earnest request to everybody that you submit your assignments. Okay, some of them I have not seen your assignments yet. Again, I would say that you can say you are just missing out the opportunities. The sessions are going to be the same for everybody, but some people are going to make most of these sessions, right? So I guess you should be the person who makes the most of this session. So please, 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 you can say submit your assignments in the UPSC discussions India forum. Okay, that is our discussion group. Okay, link to Nirav the channel on the Telegram. Second is, I hope you are reading the NCERTs, right? Whatever chapters we are completing, we have now completed the 9th standard NCERT. Okay, we have completed the 9th standard NCERT and the 10th standard NCERT. The first chapter we have completed. Today we would at least complete more 2 chapters. So I hope that you are at least reading the chapters which we have completed twice. कितने बार पढ़ना है आपको? At least you are reading there twice, and you are also making some of the running notes so that the things which are outside NCERT, you can get hold of those things very very properly. Okay, or you can say also take up some concepts, right? So running notes, you have to also post the running notes on the Telegram group. Again, sorry to say, most of you I could not see. Some of you, those who are doing it, yes, they are doing it very very nicely. I am very happy for them. Then current affairs, I hope you are reading current affairs every day, at least for an hour. Okay, and the you can say again, the success lies in the person who does the or who follows the daily routine. So I hope you are following your daily routine very very nicely, and those who have not submitted the daily routine plans can still submit me on the Telegram. We have also started a new, you can say, Instagram page. So I request all of you that you search Nirav Da on Instagram, and you can also follow Nirav Da on Instagram. Okay, so now let us go to the second chapter which we have to do today, which we are going to start today. And the second chapter, when we see the, you can say, this second chapter, then it talks about sectors of economy. क्या बात कर रहा है ये? It talks about the sectors of economy. So we are going to see how the Indian economy is categorized, or how a general any economy is categorized into different sectors, right? So we would see the types of classifications, like they have you can say classified into primary, secondary and tertiary. So exactly what is primary, secondary, tertiary, you would see that. Then they also classify into, you can say, in another, you can say, terminology. So they do it in organized sector and unorganized sector. So exactly what is organized sector, what is unorganized sector, we would see that. And then they have also classified it into private and public sector. So we would see that also. We would also see what is the contribution of GDP to of each sector. We would also try to revise what was exactly GDP. Okay, so all these things we are going to see today. Okay, before we start this chapter, one of our friends who is attending the session, he has raised the question about demographic, demographic dividend. तो उसने क्या क्वेश्चन निकाला हुआ है? Yes, you can say demographic dividend. So what is demographic dividend? It is very very easy, right, to understand. First you have to understand what is the, you can say, working population concept. So working population हम कौन सा consider करते हैं? Age group of 15 to 59. These are the working, you can say, population age group, right? Now whenever this is a working population age group, you can say that is 15 to 59. जो भी कंट्री का ये एज ग्रुप में सबसे ज्यादा पॉपुलेशन होगा, लाइक यू कैन से 60% इफ आर और मोर देन 50% आर इन दिस वर्किंग एज ग्रुप पॉपुलेशन, then automatically what is going to happen, these people are going to, you can say, be productive. These people are going to earn, these people are going to contribute to the GDP, right? So if we see the proportion, how can we, you can say, calculate demographic dividend? Working age group population upon the, you can say, total population. If you can say the ratio, if the ratio is, you can say, favorable, okay, it is above 50%, then we can say the country is going through demographic dividend. That means that the country's working age population is more as compared to the other population, that is the child population 0 to 14, and the elderly population, that is above 60. Because usually we don't associate these two categories of population with contributing anything to the GDP. That is why they become the liability on the GDP. So India currently has working population that is more than 50%. That is why we can say we are going through the demographic dividend, and that is why it is very, very important for India just now that it enjoys good growth. Because if it enjoys good growth, automatically what would happen is our GDP increases, more jobs. Are you understanding this? More jobs, automatically everybody is productively contributing to the GDP. And if everybody contributes productively to the GDP, क्या हो जाएगा हमारा कि हमारा जो केक है, हमने always GDP को कैसे, you can say, ये किया है, how we have tried to explain GDP is like a cake. If the cake size increases, my friends, automatically when you can say we would retire, or when the situation would be reversed, where you can say working age population is less than the other population, then if we have a bigger cake, then what would happen is our shares would be bigger. If we have a smaller cake, our shares would be, you can say, smaller. I hope you have got the point. Now again going to the second chapter, that is sectors of economy. Okay, here you can see how people are engaged in different sectors of the economy, right? So let us directly bite the bullet. Now what is the, you can say, sectors of economy? So basically if we see traditionally, the sectors of economy are divided into three sectors, that is primary sector, secondary sector, and you can say tertiary sector. Again I am repeating, you can say the sectors of economy. So sectors of economy are divided into three parts: primary sector, secondary sector, and tertiary sector. So if you see the primary sector, you can say it produces natural goods. And how is this classification done? It is done on the nature of activity. ओके, नेचर ऑफ एक्टिविटी. तो प्राइमरी सेक्टर में क्या होता है? प्राइमरी सेक्टर में इफ यू सी, it produces natural goods. Are you understanding this? It produces natural goods. इसका मतलब क्या है? Many activities that are undertaken directly using natural resources. Are you understanding this? So it is all use of directly natural resources. That is what we have to understand. Similarly, in the case of activity like dairy, again you can say natural resources are there, used there in dairy. Okay, so milk is a natural product, so it would come into, you can say, the primary sector. Are you understanding this? So when we produce a good by exploiting natural resources, it is an activity of primary sector. Are you understanding? तो अगर हम यहाँ पे देंगे vegetables हो गया, cotton हो गया, then food crops, coal is directly, you can say, taken from the mine, right? So it is a, you can say, primary sector. Then again wood, or you can say it is a primary sector, as this sector is majorly associated, or the contribution of agriculture in primary sector is the most, is the maximum. That is why what do we see, this sector is also called as the agricultural sector. This sector is also called as the agricultural sector, my friends. Okay, so nature of activity के हिसाब से classification होता है, and in the nature of activity what do we see? We saw that the sector which produces from the natural goods, so directly they are exploiting the natural goods, these are called as the primary sector. And as agriculture is the most, you can say, dominant in that sector, it is also called as the agricultural sector. Now let us come to the secondary sector. What is the secondary sector? Okay, so secondary sector में क्या होता है? Produces manufactured goods. Okay, so secondary sector क्या करता है? It produces manufactured goods. What does this mean, my friends? That means that whatever you are taking from the natural goods, मतलब जो हम primary sector में से ले रहे हैं, whatever we are taking from the primary sector, we are processing on that. We are, you can say, doing some man-made process कर रहे हैं हम उसके ऊपर. We are doing something of that sort. Okay, and then we are converting that into some another form. That is why we call it as a secondary sector. Wherein in the secondary sector, what is the most important keyword? Manufacturing is done. Are you understanding that? Manufacturing can be done at workshop, factory, home, anywhere. The best example you can have is here in the primary, we had the cotton, and we have manufactured from this cotton. What do we manufacture? We manufactured textile, right? Are you understanding this? So this is called as the secondary sector, where there is human intervention. Human is taking that good from the primary sector and converting it into some another form of good. And when it converts, it does some processing, some manufacturing. Are you understanding this? And man made वो good हो जाता है. Are you understanding? उसमें man made इसके लिए हम उसको बोलते हैं because man has worked on it in some way. Are you understanding this? That is why it would be the secondary sector. Then we go to the tertiary sector. As see, before we go to the tertiary sector, secondary sector is also called as the industrial sector, my friends. You have to remember that. Okay, secondary sector is also called as the industrial sector. When we go to the 11th standard NCERTs, we would see the classification of Indian economy as, you can say, done by the Indian government. See, this is the general understanding जो economist ने किया हुआ है. But Indian government has also classified the Indian economy, right? Why? It wants to do the calculation of the GDP. It wants to calculate which sector is performing in which way. Okay, so how Indian government has exactly classified the Indian economy, you would see in the 11th standard. This is a economist perspective. Okay, and economist perspective based on what? First, you can say the type of classification we are seeing on the based of what? Nature of activity. तो उसका क्या है? Nature of activity. That is what we have to understand, my friends. Okay, now let us go to the tertiary. This is the third category. Okay, so let us go to the tertiary. So this is the third category. Okay, now in this third category, what do we find is this third category usually helps to develop the other sector. So it would help to develop the primary sector, that is agricultural sector, and it would help to develop, you can say, the secondary sector or the industrial sector. It is also said that tertiary sector does not produce a good, but they are an aid support to the production process. So इसमें क्या होता है? जो tertiary sector में है, tertiary sector, you have to understand, it is not producing any goods. That is, it is not producing anything which is tangible. What is tangible? The thing which you can touch. This pen, say for example, right? This pen is tangible. Are you understanding this? But my service, the service which I am giving, the teaching which I am giving, after the lecture, say somebody tells you कि sir ने क्या पढ़ाया, can you show? Okay, sir gave today this product. You cannot directly, you can say touch and give it to somebody, right? Yes, YouTube और ये सब की वजह से you can now at least show, but it is very, very difficult to touch it. Are you understanding? So that is a service. That is a service. So we are not producing any goods. We are producing service, which is completely intangible. ओके, एंड ये देखो मैंने जैसे आपको बताया था कि इट हेल्प्स टू डेवलप अदर सेक्टर्स. तो देखो व्हाट आर द, यू कैन से, एग्जांपल्स ऑफ द सर्विस सेक्टर और टर्शियरी सेक्टर. ट्रांसपोर्ट, यू विल हैव टू ट्रांसपोर्ट द मिल्क, यू विल हैव टू ट्रांसपोर्ट द कोल, यस और नो. स्टोरेज करना पड़ेगा. कम्युनिकेशंस, बैंकिंग. Okay, if there is banking, agriculture would develop. So these are all helping the primary and the secondary sector. But this is only not all the services would be always helping. There are some services which might not be directly involved in the production of goods, like teachers, like doctors, like barbers, like fishermen. Are you understanding? They are also giving service, but they are not, you can say, directly connected with primary and secondary. Their services are, you can say, services are completely different or independent from these two sectors, but these services are very, very essential services for, you can say, our daily life. Similarly, if we see the services given by IS officers, government employees, right, these are also very, very important and essential services. Lawyers, okay, accountants, these are also different services which the, you can say, there are there. And the last thing which is there in the tertiary sector, which has developed, you can say, very well in the last, you can say, we can say 10 to 15 years, is the information technology. इसमें हम क्या पकड़ते हैं? Information technology, especially the software companies. Okay, they have also started becoming very, very important. Are you understanding this? So we have seen on the nature of the, you can say, activity, the business economic activities getting divided into three parts: primary, secondary, and tertiary. I hope everybody has understood this basic, you can say, explanation. Okay, but we have to understand that each sector cannot work in isolation, right? Each sector cannot work in isolation. Say I'll give you my example. Say I am teaching, right? But for teaching I will be charging some fees. Okay, so if you can say, if you pay the fees through bank, then only I can teach. So I am dependent upon, you can say, the bank. Are you understanding this? Or you can say, you can have the example here. Say farmers refuse to sell to sugarcane, to the sugarcane mill. Sugarcane mill क्या कर रहा है? Manufacturing कर रहा है. Farmers, so manufacturing comes into the secondary sector. Farmers come into the primary sector. Are you understanding? So whatever the thing is, all economic activities are interdependent, and majorly, okay, all the sectors, primary, secondary, and tertiary, are all interdependent upon each other. That is what we have to understand. So that is why please fill in this table today. Okay, so that you get a better understanding about the interdependence. Now we need to compare. Okay, अभी आपको compare करना है कि कैसे कौन सा sector important है, how what is the size of, you can say, which sector, primary sector is bigger, secondary sector is bigger, or the tertiary sector's contribution to the Indian GDP is bigger. So now you want to compare this. But if you want to compare this, then it is becoming a little difficult. Why it would become a little difficult? Because you could see here that what happens is, say for example, I am a farmer. I have grown say 100 kgs of wheat. Are you understanding this? But there is somebody else. There is say somebody else. Say you have made 10 chairs. You have made 10 chairs. So how are you going to compare whose contribution is bigger? Say 100 kgs whose contribution is bigger, or 10 chairs contribution is bigger? Okay, so that is why, to find out the contribution, what are we trying to do? What are we trying to do? We are trying to just, we would convert the value of 10 chairs in the monetary terms. इसको किसमें कर देंगे? Monetary term में कि 10 chairs you sold for how much? Say for example, this 10 chairs, each chair you sold for, say, you can say 40 or 400 rupees. So the 10 chairs contribution would be 4,000 rupees to the GDP. And then wheat you sold for, say for example, each kg you sold for 10 rupees, then your contribution would be 1,000 per, you can say, your contribution to the GDP by for selling the wheat would be 1,000. So that is how you can say these sectors are, you can say, compared on the basis of the monetary, you can say we convert them into the monetary, that is you can say कितने worth का value उन्होंने generate किया हुआ है. And as we had seen, right, that what we had seen, then GDP, then we calculate GDP. What is the GDP? Total value of goods final. What is the word? Very important. Final goods and services produced. Goods and services produced in a territory. In a territory in one financial year. Yes or no? You have understood this very basic thing which we have discussed. अभी हम क्या करेंगे? तो जीडीपी में 3 सेक्टर्स होंगे, प्राइमरी सेक्टर, सेकेंडरी सेक्टर एंड टर्शियरी सेक्टर. They all would be calculating. Okay, but we have to understand this is only final goods and services. Why final goods and services? Because I have already explained you how I had explained you that why you have to consider final goods and services. Because say for example wheat है, wheat, okay, then you can say wheat को क्या बनाया? Flour. They made the flour of wheat and then they made the biscuits. Okay, so if wheat was sold at, you can say 100, the flour was sold at 150. Okay, so wheat वाले ने flour वाले को wheat दिया, and then the flour guy, you can say, sold the flour to the biscuits guy for 150, and the biscuits guy is selling the biscuits at 200. So we cannot, you can say, add in 100 plus 150 plus 200. Okay, we cannot do this, na? Yes or no? That we cannot say that the GDP contribution in this process is, you can say, rupees 450. We cannot do that, right? Why we cannot do that? Because it would be double counting. Why it would be double counting? Because the flour, if we are calculating 150, it already has 100 rupees worth of wheat. Are you understanding this? And when we are calculating the biscuit as 200, are you understanding? That would also already have the, you can say, flour जो जिसका contribution है, and it would also have the contribution of the wheat. Are you understanding this? That is why what we calculate during the GDP calculation is only the final goods. Are you understanding this? That is why हम क्या करेंगे? हम सिर्फ biscuit जो कि final good है. And how to decide which is the final good? The good which is consumed by the end customer is the final good. Always remember this. The, you can say, goods which is consumed by the end customer. So if say for example this biscuit, okay, they biscuit क्या कर दिया फिर ये बिस्किट वाले ने, समझो सम कैफे को बेच दिया. Okay, and then that cafe sells this to the customer, say cookies with the coffee at, you can say, 300. Okay, then this would become the final goods. Are you understanding this? Okay, and this would become the intermediary goods. Or then this flour guy directly sold, you can say, to some household. Okay, and this household is using the flour to make chapatis. Then this would become the, you can say, final goods. Are you understanding this? Or this wheat guy directly sold to the household, and in the household itself they are making the flour. Then this would become the final goods. So directly end customer jab aa jata hai, that becomes the final good. Are you understanding this? So whenever we are calculating GDP, we have to, you can say, so profit from the primary sector won't be counted in the GDP. No, Richa. So it is not like that, right? Say wheat, okay, wheat is directly given. If the wheat is directly given, you can say, now say government procures wheat, right? Government procures wheat, and I directly take the wheat from PDS shop. I directly take the wheat from the PDS shop, right? And if I take the wheat from the, you can say, PDS shop, I'm directly taking the wheat, I'm taking it, I'm the final consumer. Are you understanding? I am the final consumer of that wheat. So automatically the contribution of wheat would be, you can say, calculated. Okay. And you have to understand one thing, that even if we are, you can say, following this chain, okay, what is going to happen, my friends, is the contribution of each is taken into this chain. So wheat is 100, its contribution is taken. Okay, wheat or flour, इसका जो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग जो हुआ, ओके, इसका जो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग हुआ, तो कितना डिफरेंस है? 50 रुपीस का डिफरेंस है. So okay, we can say here floor ka 50 rupees we have, you can say, considered, and here what is the difference? You can say this 50 rupees, so this also has been, you can say, considered. So everything is going to get considered, only you have to take the last, that is the final goods. Okay. Yes, all individually, all sectors contribute to the GDP. Can we say that business to consumer transactions need to be considered? Yes, final जो consumer है ना, consumer जो final transaction होगा, तो ही उसको हम final goods कहते हैं. That is what we have to understand, my friends. Okay, so I hope you have understood this, how the GDP is calculated. Okay. Now, see, that is why the word they have used here is final goods and services, and they have given the example of, you can say, the same thing, wheat, and then mill grinds 10 rupees. Are you understanding? The biscuit uses all these things. It sells the biscuit in the market for 60 rupees. The biscuits are the final goods that reach the customers. Are you understanding this? Okay. So intermediate goods are not to be counted. Only the final goods are to be counted in the GDP. Okay, so that is the very simple understanding which we have to understand. Concept सिर्फ पकड़ के रखो आप. Okay, concept के ऊपर से सारा ही होने वाला है. अगर बहुत ज्यादा डिटेल में जाओगे, then UPSC would not, you can say, will not be able to cover the syllabus, and UPSC में सिर्फ, you can say, scholar बन के रह जाओगे. Okay, basic concept आपको पता होने चाहिए बस. Okay, so the value of goods and services produced in a in each sector. So each sector में जो goods and services की values create हो रहे हैं, वो सारे आप add करोगे, okay, for that 1 year, and that is how you would get the GDP. But GDP में और एक क्या होता है? Buying wheat, that also comes in the category of, yes, is someone buying the wheat? See, if someone is buying the wheat to make biscuits, okay, so then wheat would not become the final good, it becomes the intermediary good. But if somebody is buying the wheat for final consumption itself, then wheat becomes the final good. Are you understanding this? Okay, so if wheat is bought by a biscuit manufacturing company, then wheat is an intermediate good. But if I am buying the wheat for my house directly, जो हम सब घर पे हमारे store करते हैं, right? So directly wheat would become the, you can say, final good. Are you understanding this? Okay, so this is what we have to understand very in a easy manner. So in India, the mammoth task of GDP calculation is done by the government, central ministry, ये सब चीजें करती है. Okay. Now, if you see the historical change in the sectors, what would you find? If you see the historical change, you would find that, you can say, agriculture was, you can say, the most important, you can say, sector which was contributing to the GDP first. So agriculture was the most important sector which was contributing to the GDP. Now, slowly, what has happened is, you can say, agriculture has not become that much, you can say, important. This, why? You have to understand this. Dekho, now again, history concept, we have seen this, that agriculture is always the, you can say, most important. Why? Because through agriculture we are going to get food, and once, you can say, food is ensured, once food is ensured, plus there is surplus production, then a chunk of population, can go away from agriculture. Agriculture से वो दूर जा सकता है. Okay, they can go away from agriculture and do some things in secondary sector, or can do some things in tertiary sector. So always it is going to happen that agriculture is, at some point, is going to be the most important sector of production, because most of the people are going to first think about the food security. But once there is a surplus production, then they can go towards the secondary sector and the tertiary sector. That is what is a very important thing which you have to understand. Okay, so what happened? Many people could now do other work because there was surplus. Okay, so what did the other people do? They started buying and selling activities. Some of the people started thinking about how we can manufacture better things. So they went into the secondary sector. Then as more and more things you can say were produced, you can say due to factories the things got very cheap, the goods got very cheap, so secondary sector became very important. And the last 100 years what do we see is from secondary sector which sector is becoming very important is the tertiary sector. So tertiary sector is has gained importance in the last 100 years. Now if you see this 73 74, if you could see, you can see the jo blue wala hai, that was the primary sector, and see primary sector was completely contributing the greatest to our Indian GDP, right? And then we had the tertiary sector and the secondary sector, right? But now, if you see, the primary sector is hardly contributing. आज अगर आप देखोगे तो primary sector only contributes to around, you can say 15% of the GDP, right? The secondary sector would contribute to 25 to 30% of the GDP. So more than 50%. Okay, more than 50% of the GDP is now contributed by tertiary sector. That is what we have to understand. So that is what the table is also trying to tell us, or the title is trying to, this table is also saying the same thing. And now the title is trying to find out that why you can say that tertiary sector importance has increased. First, why the tertiary sector importance has increased? What is the NCERT trying to tell us? First, the country requires a lot of basic services like hospitals, education institutes, post, telegraphs. These are basic services, right? And the government has to take responsibility of these services. So that is why the tertiary sector automatically gets a boost. Then if you want to develop agriculture, or if you want to develop industry, development of services is must. How development of services is very much that if you're doing agriculture and if you don't have proper, say for example, if you don't have proper transport, if you don't have proper trade, if you don't have proper storage, how are you going to do agriculture? Are you understanding this? तो एग्रीकल्चर भी डेवलप करना है, हमने पहले ही देखा ना जो डेफिनेशन में, द डेफिनेशन ऑफ द tertiary sector itself says it develops, it aids in the development of the, you can say, primary and secondary sector. So automatically that is why we require tertiary sector. Plus once you can say people's income increases, then due to the impact of globalization what happened is people started demanding more and more services like eating outside. They want to have tourism. You could have seen before COVID crisis कि people कितना ज़्यादा घूम रहे हैं, and then shopping, then private hospitals, private schools, professional training they want, and all this is basically concentrated in the big cities. So more and more demand for that, more and more you can say it is developing. Then if you go ahead, then what do you see over the past few decades? What has happened is you can say the jo information technology boom hai, that has also grown a lot. But this does not mean that all the people who are working in the tertiary sector are doing a very remarkable job. Okay, tertiary sector is one sector which gives you extreme jobs. Usually you can say जो highly qualified लोग होते हैं, okay, उनके लिए बहुत ही अच्छे jobs है tertiary sector में. Okay, but you also have to remember one thing for tertiary sector. Always remember this: why India has got such a big problem for that jobs are not created in India. क्यों इतना बड़ा problem है इंडिया में? क्योंकि टर्शियरी सेक्टर ने क्या हुआ है देखा ना हमने यहाँ पे कि प्राइमरी सेक्टर वाज द मोस्ट इन्फ्लुएंशियल सेक्टर, एंड देन नेवर द टाइम केम देन व्हेन द सेकेंडरी सेक्टर वाज द मोस्ट इन्फ्लुएंशियल सेक्टर, वी डायरेक्टली जंप टू द टर्शियरी सेक्टर. हमने डायरेक्टली क्या जंप कर दिया? टर्शियरी सेक्टर में. एंड यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड माय फ्रेंड्स दैट टर्शियरी सेक्टर इज यूजुअली नॉट अ सेक्टर व्हिच क्रिएट्स जॉब्स. तो वो इट इज नॉट अ जॉब्स क्रिएटिंग सेक्टर. आर यू अंडरस्टैंडिंग? आई विल गिव यू अ सिंपल एग्जांपल. I am taking a lecture. In front of you, me, 100 students are there. Okay. Tomorrow, if there are 200 students, then only I would be enough. Tomorrow there are 10, you can say 1000 students. Then also हम क्या है वीडियो के ऊपर you can say ये लग जाएंगे हम लोग लिंक. Okay, and I would be able to teach all these 1000 students. But this is usually not the case with the secondary sector. Say one, you can say Tata is, you can say, manufacturing 100 nanos. Tata is manufacturing 100 nanos. If it wants to double the manufacturing of nano, it would have to increase the workforce. It has to increase the workforce. Are you understanding? The raw material would increase, everything would increase, right? Are you understanding this? And automatically more jobs would be created there. Auxiliary industries grow हो जाएंगे, ज़्यादा tires लगेंगे, ज़्यादा metal लगेगा. Everything you can say would, you can say, have that kind of a, you can say, what we can say, a butterfly effect or a domino effect where everything is growing, right? But tertiary में इतना जल्दी से job usually create नहीं होते हैं. और you can say अच्छे जो jobs है, that is only for the high skilled, highly educated people. Otherwise what happens is, see, at one end limited number of services employ highly skilled and educated workers, but in tertiary sector very, you can say, large jobs are, you can say, people who are engaged as small shopkeepers, repair, you can say, persons, transport persons. So these are the major, you can say, things which we have to understand. Okay, so tertiary sector is not a very very job creating sector. That is what we have to see. This chart, that is why it becomes very very important for us, my friends. मैंने क्या बताया, more than 50-55% of the contribution of the GDP is now coming to the tertiary sector. But see agriculture sector का 71% you can employment था. Still today 44% of our people are dependent upon agriculture sector. You have to understand, roughly अगर हम बताएं तो 45% of the people are, you can say, dependent on agricultural sector, and they are earning, you can say, what, only 15%. Are you understanding? समझ रहे हो आप? मतलब अगर एक देश में 100 लोग हैं, if there are 100 people in a country and 45 people are only earning 15 rupees, 45 people are only earning 50 rupees. So that is why farmers are always going to remain poor. Farmers are always going to remain poor. And at the other end, if you see secondary sector, so secondary sector around contributes 25% to the GDP. Okay, they are having, you can say, 25% of the people who are, you can say, जो है, they are in the job. Okay, so अगर हम देखें यहाँ पे हमारा कितना हो जाता है, कितने लोग हमारे यहाँ पे एम्प्लॉय हो गए, so 70% are here, and hardly tertiary sector is going to give you 30% jobs, whereas it is more than 55% of the GDP. Please understand this. See, we say that the government says that it wants to double the farmers income. So double the farmer income ऐसे नहीं होगा. आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा? If you see any developed country, you would, in the future chapters you would see USA only employs less than 1% of its people in agricultural sector. USA is a developed country, only employs less than 1% of the people. Here what is happening? Still we have got too many people, you can say, engaged into agriculture, and they are earning too less. They are earning too less. क्यों ऐसा हुआ है? क्योंकि यू कैन से रिमार्केबल फीट इन इंडिया क्या हुआ है कि जीडीपी तो कंट्रीब्यूशन बढ़ गया, द जीडीपी, द टर्शियरी सेक्टर्स कंट्रीब्यूशन टू द जीडीपी हैज इंक्रीज्ड, but it has not led to creation of jobs. That is why more and more people are engaged still in agriculture. That is what we have to understand. That is why the Indian economy is not performing well, and one of the reasons why this has happened, many reasons are there, like you can say red tape is one, you can say, reason. Red tape मतलब क्या है? जो bureaucrats है, okay, they would always create problems. Okay, they would try to have corruption. ये file लेके आओ, वो file लेके आओ, ये document लेके आओ, and they would not sign the file. They would not, you can say, encourage the business, and you can say all this would lead to, you can say, slow business growth in India. Or another reason is that industries are not growing into India. Industries are not growing into India. Why? Because our education is very very weak. Our health infrastructure is very very weak. As you can say, education हम अच्छा नहीं दे रहे, तो people are not having good skills. People don't have proper research and development. Yes or no? Hardly, you can say, you tell me one sector where India has done exemplary well for research and development, and today it is most cutting edge technology is coming from India. So hardly there is not a single sector like that, right? Because you're not focusing on the education properly. I've told you multiple times what is the role of education and how education is the most important thing for any country for its development. But India has not done it right. So that is why jobs are not created, and that is the biggest problem which India is facing today. That is what we have to understand, right? That you can say, if you see there, these two are not contributing anything. अगर आप देखोगे तो ये कितना employment दे रहा है? This is only giving employment, if you could see in the real terms, only, you can say, 55% of the people are getting employed in both both tertiary and secondary sector, whereas their contribution to the GDP is 85%. I hope you are understanding this. So when can we double the farmers income? When the farmers can have good, you can say, good life, if the, you can say, जो अभी जो ये है फार्मर्स का पॉपुलेशन है वो कम होना चाहिए. से फॉर एग्जाम्पल फार्मर्स आज 15 रुपए कमा रहे जीडीपी में, say after 10 years also they earn only 50 rupees, 15 rupees, right? 15%. Okay, but today 45% are involved in farming. Tomorrow, say for example, only 15 people are earning, 15 people are there in farming. Here what are they going to earn? If we just do the average, simple average, okay, 0.33, you can say each farmer would be earning. Here you can say 1% each farmer would be earning, or 1 rupee each farmer would be earning. So क्या हो जाएगा? ट्रिपल हो जाएगा इनकम. The only thing is we need to reduce the population which is there in farming. I hope you have understood the point. Very, very important point. This is the basic dilemma. This is the basic problem of Indian economy. If you have understood this, please, you can say, you can write in the chat box so that I understand that you have understood this. You can say simple but very, very important, you can say, point, and the, you can say, biggest problem of our Indian GDP. Okay, so industrial production, if you see, industrial production went up 9 times. Industrial production went up 9 times, but the people who are employed in industrial production are, they have only gone, their, you can say, numbers have only increased by, you can say, their numbers have only increased by 3 times. Okay, so their number has only increased by 3 times. Yes, if you see, if you see the tertiary sector, right, the service sector, it has increased 14 times. So kitna increase ho gaya? It has increased 14 times. Okay, but the people who are employed in this tertiary sector, they have only have, their employment has increased only 5 times. As a result, more than half of the workers in the country are still working in the primary sector, whereas the primary sector is only contributing to the 1/6 of the GDP. So that is why, what does that mean? That primary sector में बहुत सारे लोग जो है वो underemployed है. Why they're still working in the primary sector? Because they don't have a choice. They are not getting, you can say, good jobs in the secondary sector and the tertiary sector. That is why they are still working in the primary sector. That is what we have to understand, right? And in primary sector, what is the problem? Again, primary sector has its own problem. What is the problem? In the first chapter itself we saw 85% of, you can say, the farmers, landless laborers to side pe rakh do. Landless labor is completely different category, but 85% of the farmers, those who have got land, they are marginal and small farmers. That is, they have less than 2 hectares of land. Just imagine this. Are you understanding? So what are they going to work in those small lands? So they would have hardly any work. Then ye to sirf ho gaya area problem. Okay, so they don't have enough area to work there. Second problem, what is the second problem? Most of the lands are unirrigated. Okay, they are unirrigated. So how, what are they going to do? Multiple jo cropping karna hai, you have to take 2 crops, 3 crops a year. That also they are not able to do properly. Are you understanding this? So this is all leading to underemployment, hidden employment, and we have discussed this. This is also called as the disguised unemployment. And because of the disguised unemployment, what is happening is, my friends, that 5 people are working on, you can say, very small area of land, and hardly 2 people are required. And that is why what happens, the earning of the family is very, very low. Earning of the family is very, very low. They become poor and they become vulnerable. Are you understanding this? So this is the problem of India. Why? Basically, we are not providing good education. Basically, we are not providing good infrastructure. All these things we are going to, you can say, discuss in the coming chapters. Okay, so that is why what happens is, because they are not now very poor, so in you can say desperate conditions, आप देखो ना कि जैसे कोविड क्राइसिस में so many migrant laborers, where they were so desperate to go back to their home. So these migrant laborers are completely unskilled and they have basically no work in villages. So in these desperate conditions, without, as they don't have any options, so thousands of them, you can say, join as casual workers, who are working as painters, plumbers, repair persons, and doing all the odd jobs, like you can say pushing a cart. And they might be spending the whole day in this, you can say, rigorous activities, but they might be earning very, very less. Why? Because they are not got better opportunities. So this is somewhat very unfortunate, which is there in India. Okay, so now this chapter comes to a very important point, that how can we create more employment. क्या बोल रहा है ये चैप्टर, कि हमने ज्यादा से ज्यादा एम्प्लॉयमेंट कैसे क्रिएट करना है. ओके, सो एंड व्हाई शुड वी क्रिएट मोर एम्प्लॉयमेंट. Okay, because you are understanding, right, the basic thing, that 45% are only earning 15%. So we want to change this. If you want to change this, we have to create more and more employment. We have to create more and more employment. But already urban people are not getting job. If rural people live farming, how that will be balanced? Monica is asking this very important question, that urban people are not getting job. So if rural people are, you can say, leaving farming, how it will be balanced? So Monica, that is what we're talking. We need to create more jobs. Why rural people are not coming into, you can say, urban areas? Because there are no jobs. Currently, India is facing, you can say, a huge, what we say, deficit in jobs. In the advanced NCERTs, जो 11th standard के NCERTs है, हम देखेंगे what happened is, after, you can say, this जो हमारा हमने ये किया न्यू इकोनॉमिक पॉलिसी, and we went towards, you can say, liberalization, privatization, globalization. We are all going to discuss this. Don't get panic. I'll discuss. I'll explain all these things. What happened is, you can say, we or the economists say, the phenomenon which has happened is we saw growth. We saw growth, but that was called as the jobless growth. क्योंकि growth बहुत हुआ, GDP grow हुआ, but the jobs have not been created. And graphically, through proper graph, the NCERT has explained us, so we'll see that. So that is what we are trying to say, that we need to create more, you can say, jobs in industries, more jobs in tertiary sector. That is why more education is needed. And अभी वही डिस्कस कर रहे हैं ना हम यहाँ पे, ये टाइटल भी सब टाइटल वही है कि हाउ टू क्रिएट मोर जॉब्स. सो डोंट गेट वरीड that you can say you are in urban area, and if rural area people would more come, and then there would be no jobs. तो ऐसा नहीं है, हमको jobs create करने हैं. That is the biggest challenge that the Indian society is currently facing, my friends. Okay, so how to create more jobs? So government ने क्या करना चाहिए? Okay, government and should have policies where, you can say, this poor जो हमारे farmers है, they get proper credit. क्रेडिट मतलब क्या है? दे शुड गेट अ लोन. इफ दे गेट दिस प्रॉपर क्रेडिट, इफ दे गेट दिस प्रॉपर लोन, देन व्हाट वुड हैव, what they can do, they can, you can say, have electricity, they can have proper, you can say, seeds, they can have, you can say, fertilizers, proper fertilizers, pesticides, and automatically what would happen there, you can say, the production in their fields would grow. Production in their fields grows, my friends, automatically they would have more surplus. They have more surplus, they can sell it into the market. वो क्या कर सकते हैं? मार्केट में इसको बेच सकते हैं. They sell it into the market, they earn more profit. They earn more profit. Are you understanding this? They become, you can say, they go above the poverty line, and then they realize that we have got now surplus. We can have proper education for our children. We can have proper health infrastructure for the, you can say, family. And automatically, if these two are in place, then you can say, we can say, the, you can say, family can then, you can say, come out of the poverty, and more jobs would be created. Because ये education हुआ, so everybody would not, you can say, go and ask for jobs. Somebody would start their, you can, they would become self-employed. Somebody would start their own businesses, right? So that is how we need to create job. So ये इधर यही बोला है उन्होंने कि अच्छा transport facility दो आप, जो farmers है उनको अच्छा transport facility दो, so that their products reach the market in time and there is minimum wastage. Are you understanding this? Then storage facility should be there. Okay, what is the farmer's biggest, you can say, जो सबसे बड़ा रोना होता है, जो सबसे बड़ा difficulty है of the farmer, is that when the harvest season comes, when the harvest season comes, okay, the supply, it is harvest season for each and every farmer. So what happens is the supply of the, you can say, farm goods increase at that time. And the economics ka simple rule hai, whenever there is excessive supply, whenever there is excessive supply, what is going to happen? The market forces, kya hote hain market forces? Demand and supply. And whenever there is excess supply, the value of that goods is going to decrease. Are you understanding? The value of that goods is going to decrease. So what can farmers do? If government has beautiful storage capacities, huge storage capacity, government chodo, private people also have beautiful storage capacities. I am going to make a video on a YouTube very soon on the agricultural reforms. I am, you can say, finding time for that. This thing abhi in 2-3 days, if I get a time, I would immediately make that video. Please see that video. Therein I am going to talk about why agriculture is suffering so much. So one of the points which I am going to raise is the storage. We don't have enough storage, and especially private people are not investing in storage. Why they are not investing in storage, you can see in that video. What would happen if the storage would happen is that when the harvest is coming together, okay, all the harvest is together, then the supply is increasing overnight. And when the supply is increasing overnight, my friends, what usually happens, okay, is the value or the price of the say wheat, rice would completely crash. Are you understanding? So if they have a storage, they can store this, farmers can store this, or any private entity can store this. And when, you can say, the supply reduces, at that time, if they can bring their, you can say, goods into the market, if they can bring the goods at that time into the market, they would earn a better price. So that is what the government should do. उन्होंने ये सब के ऊपर फोकस करना है. Right policies, government ने सब जगह पे इन्वेस्ट करने की जरूरत नहीं है. It is not that government should invest. It is all about the right policies. And government, देखो, one beautiful statement in this year's economic survey is that whichever sectors the government has regulated or government has intervened, being the primary sector, the agricultural sector, and the secondary sector, this sector have, you can say, severely underperformed in India. IT, जो कंप्यूटर सेक्टर है वहां पे गवर्नमेंट हार्डली हैड रेगुलेशंस बिकॉज गवर्नमेंट हार्डली अंडरस्टूड एनीथिंग एट दैट टाइम देयर, so it boomed in India. Are you understand? So government needs to have the right policies. Because the government is not having the right policies, somewhere the Indian growth is getting suffocated, it is getting choked. That is what we have to understand. So government need to give the right fertilizers, seeds. Okay, नहीं तो फिर ये लोग क्या करते हैं, they would buy money from the money lenders and then they can go into the debt trap, right? And at the same time, if you see, then the government should also क्या करना चाहिए गवर्नमेंट ने, तो गवर्नमेंट ने जो हमारे एरियाज है like semi rural areas and all those areas, so they can say support, or what should happen, what should come is the small scale industries, like say for example this dal mill which can process the, you can say, produce, farm produce, and the farmers can get good, you can say, product, farmers can get good return if the dal mill directly procures from there. Again, cold storage, potatoes, I had given the example, right? In UP, what had happened is, you can say, the potato price crashed. It came to 3 rupees kg, whereas the cost of production was 5 rupees kg. The, you can say, जो farmer है, he is now helpless and he dumped all the potatoes on the highway in complete distress. So if there was cold storage, proper facilities, these potatoes of 3 rupees kg would have been stored there, and when the demand would have increased, say after a month or so, then these potatoes would have been, you can say, sold in the market at a better price, say 15 rupees kg, and the farmer would not have to face losses. Then there should be honey collection center, so a lot of things can be done. That is why I'm telling you, you are in a, you can say, you have taken a very beautiful choice. You have made a very beautiful choice that you want to become bureaucrats. Okay, and if you want to become bureaucrats, India still has a lot of problems which are unresolved. That is why the work of bureaucrats becomes very, very important. And it is also because of the bureaucrats itself that India has not progressed at the rate it should have progressed. So please take the onus on you, become good bureaucrats, become efficient bureaucrats, and you can change. You can do so much for this country, and the country needs good bureaucrats. So I hope you become one and help us. Okay. Then if you see, what does the NCERT tell us, that if you see that Indian population, huge population, is between the age of 5 to 29 years. Huge population, 60%, and only 50% of this population. Okay, तो अभी हमारा population कितना है, 130 crores. So 65 crores, you just have to imagine, 65 crores, okay, is between this age group, and hardly, you can say, उसमें से 30 crores भी है, so they are taking proper some education, school में education ले रहे हैं या कहीं पे भी education ले रहे हैं. But if more and more people take, you can say, education, if more and more people take education, then automatically what is going to happen, we would require more buildings, more teachers, and 20 lakh jobs would be created. Similarly, we need a lot of jobs in health sanitation, right, doctors, nurses, health workers, बहुत सारे हमको यहाँ पे jobs create करने हैं. Then IT field जो हमारा grow हो रहा है, वहाँ पे भी बहुत सारे jobs हो सकते हैं. और if the government is doing the policies right and it encourages, then you can say, the planning commission said that tourism is highly underdeveloped sector in India. Just imagine, I'll give you just one fact, you will understand that. Okay, अगर आप देखोगे तो इंडिया में, जो पूरे इंडिया में, आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट द एंटायर इंडिया, if you see the foreign tourists who come into entire India, the number might not be very high, it is only around 1 crore. But at the same time, if you see the number of just people who visit the Eiffel Tower in Paris, that might be in a year 1 crore. Are you understanding this? So how much potential we have? If you see Maharashtra, beautiful sites, you have got financial capital Mumbai, you have got historical places like Pune, you have got Ajanta Ellora, you have got so many things, so many things. You go to Delhi, Agra, you go to south, you have got so many historical places, right? You go to, you can say, north, you have got snow-clad mountains, you have got desert, you've got everything. In northeast, it is my favorite place. I've, you can say, traveled northeast at length. I've gone to Shillong, I've gone to Manipur, I've gone to Nagaland. Nagaland, I will tell you, Kohima is one of the most beautiful cities. Assam is so beautiful. Kaziranga, if you go, तो इतना सारा potential है हमारे पास, but hardly we are doing enough because infrastructure is not there, proper facilities for the tourists are not there. Okay, you go and visit these foreign countries, you will understand how great infrastructures are there. So if you do that, then there is a lot of things to do. So this is why bureaucrats are very, very important, my friends. Okay, now what government has done, at least in rural areas, because there is so much population in rural areas and they want work, government passed right to work act in the 625 districts, which is the rural जो हमारे areas है वहाँ पे. And क्या किया है, MG नरेगा, we have already discussed this. MG नरेगा is what, the person, if you are in staying in rural India and you are ready to do manual work, अगर आप मैनुअल वर्क करने के लिए रेडी हो, यू आर इन रूरल इंडिया, then government promises that per household, that is, the household is usually 5 people in a house, we would give, we can say 100 days work, we would give 100 days work, minimum 100 days work, and if we cannot give this 100 days work, we would directly give money to you, okay, and this would be जो मिनिमम वेजेस है उसके ऊपर आपको काम करना पड़ेगा, ओके, डेली मिनिमम वेजेस जो है दैट उसके ऊपर काम करना पड़ेगा. गवर्नमेंट, इट इज रिटन हियर, इफ गवर्नमेंट फेल्स in its duty to provide employment, then it would have to give unemployment allowance to the people. Okay, so I hope you have understood primary sector, secondary sector, and you have also seen what are the challenges and why India needs to create jobs. That is a very, very important point which we discussed today. Now we are going to, you can say, see the second, what we can say, categorization. So division of sectors in organized and unorganized manner. So here they have tried to explain us beautifully through two, you can say, cases. One is Kanta. So Kanta attends her office 9:30 to 5:30. The timings are fixed. She gets the salary regularly every month. She has got a provident fund, okay, and she gets also medical allowances. Everything is according to the rules, right? She gets Sundays as off. She's also got a appointment letter, okay. But see this guy, okay, so Kanta is all very well, you can say, well to do. This guy's name is Kamal. So Kamal is a, you can say, daily wage laborer in a grocery shop, has to go 7:30 in the morning, works till 8 p.m. in the night. He gets no allowances other than his wages, okay. If he does not go, he is not paid. He does not have leave, he does not have paid holidays, and he is nor he has given any formal letter, appointment letter, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. So हम क्या बोलेंगे, Kanta is basically working in organized sector. So Kanta is working in organized sector and Kamal is working in unorganized sector. That is what we have to understand. Very, very simple है ये समझने के लिए. So organized sector में क्या होता है, the terms of employment are regular, people are assured work, they are registered by the government and follow the rules and regulations. So there are some rules and regulations, right, which are currently in news also. So all the acts are implemented, like Factory Act is implemented. Factory Act क्या करता है, सेफ्टी और ये सब देखेगा. मिनिमम वेजेस एक्ट, कि आपको मिनिमम वेजेस तो मिलने ही चाहिए. पेमेंट ऑफ ग्रेचुटी एक्ट, देखो what is, you can say, gratuity. See, in organized sector we saw na, in organized sector there is, you can say, salary plus other benefits. तो other benefits में बहुत सारे आते हैं, but I would just explain some few to you. One is pension, so that after you retire you get this monthly, so that your daily expenses are done. Gratuity क्या होता है? Gratuity is that if you have worked, you can say, for a long period at one place, okay, then at the time of your retirement or when you leave the work, you get some lump sum amount. Okay, so that gratuity is almost, you have to understand that you have been, you can say, loyal to one place, and you have worked, you have given so much of your life at one place, so you should get some kind of gratuity for that, okay. And provident fund is again very similar, that once you retire, you get a lump sum amount, big amount, so that if you have any, you can say, expenses or something, at that time you can say, have money. And because when you retire you will not have any source of income, right? So that is why this kind of funds are there, that is, pension is there, gratuity is there. But ये सब किसके लिए होता है? Organized sector. Plus organized sector is also have to follow by the rules. We saw the rules, right? Factory Act, Shop and Establishments Act, Gratuity Act. This all rules and regulations they have to follow by, and they have to be, you can say, registered. They have to be registered with the government. So that is an organized sector. Now this is the problem in India. Hardly we have got organized sector in India. Okay, hardly we have got any organized sector. Okay, but workers जो है, तो ये तो workers हो गए, but organized sector में ये भी लोग होते हैं, like we all, say teachers, even if we are self-employed, okay, but we have to register ourselves with the government and follow some rules and regulations, then we will also automatically come into the organized sector. Say doctors, they also have to, you can say, go and register with the Medical Council of India, and they get their, you can say, registration number, so they would also come into the organized sector. So ऐसा नहीं कि सिर्फ जो काम कर रहे हैं, जो salaried है, they only come into the organized sector. This we have to understand. Organized sector enjoy security of employment, work hours are fixed. If they are doing overtime, they have to be paid. Are you understanding? Plus they get all the benefits which I have already, you can say, tried to explain you. I hope you all are understanding. Okay, ऑर्गेनाइज सेक्टर समझा है सबको? ऑर्गेनाइज सेक्टर में देखो, जैसे हमने बताया ना, लॉस कैसे होते हैं, मेडिकल बेनिफिट्स मिलता है, then you have to have proper ensure water, drinking water facilities, safe working environment, all these things you have to ensure. But this guy Kamal is unorganized sector. Are you understanding? Completely outside the control of the government. Okay, jobs are, you can say, low paid jobs are there, not regular भी नहीं होते हैं यहाँ पे jobs. Okay, and because there is no regular jobs here, then what happens is you don't get any paid leaves, you don't get holidays. Okay, sickness leave, ये सब सब कुछ भी वहाँ पे ऐसे चीजें नहीं है. This sector includes a large number of people who are employed on their own doing small jobs also, like you can say street vendors or some, you can say, rickshaw जो ड्राइवर्स है, ये सब चीज, ये सब लोग कहाँ पे होंगे? Unorganized sector. This would all be unorganized sector. So I hope you have understood what is the difference between organized and unorganized sector. So we need to do something to protect the unorganized sector workers, because we have most of them, the workers who are working are in unorganized sector, so their earnings are very low, plus the earnings are not regular. Okay, since 1990 what has happened is, so we see that the new economic reforms आए हैं ना, new economic policies आए हैं, so we see that the numbers of, you can say, those who are in unorganized sectors have increased, and you can say जो organized sector के jobs है, organized sector jobs, they have not increased that much in India. And who are doing this unorganized job? Again, those who were in rural areas, they did not have land, or they had small and marginal, you can say, land, they came here. Okay, or then you can see basically those who are working in, you can say, rural households, so वहाँ पे जो काम कर रहे थे वो सारे यहाँ पे आ गए. Okay, so these all people came here and they are the most, you can say, vulnerable. And if you see from the social angle, then majority of the scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, backward जो communities है, they are into this, you can say, unorganized, or they are working as the casual laborers in small industries or construction sites, and many a times they face a lot of social discrimination. So we need to have their economic and social development. Economic and social development दोनों की जरूरत है. इसके लिए गवर्नमेंट को क्या क्रिएट करना पड़ेगा? गवर्नमेंट को क्रिएट करना पड़ेगा सोशल सिक्योरिटी नेट. Okay, social security net, which India is not having currently. Social security net मतलब क्या है? Strong PDS, मतलब everybody should get food. Okay, everybody should get health, everybody should get education. तो ये सब बहुत strong करना पड़ेगा. If this all things are very strong in India, then automatically what can happen is, you can say this, even if somebody is in unorganized sector, somebody loses out the job, then also they can be rest assured that they would have basic, these are all called as the bare minimum, you can say, or we can say basic services, right? कि अगर ये होंगे तो एक इंसान जिंदा अच्छे से रह पाएगा. That is what India needs to create. Plus India needs to create jobs, India needs to create proper jobs in the organized sector. Okay, so second categorization also we have seen. What is the second categorization we have seen? That is organized and unorganized sector. First we saw that was primary, secondary and tertiary. Now let us see the last categorization. The last categorization which we see is, you can say, the on the basis of ownership. On the basis of ownership. Okay, तो पहला हमने क्या देखा? On the basis of nature of activity, primary, secondary and tertiary. Second, or what did we see? On the basis of, you can say, हमने किसके ऊपर basis के ऊपर देखा? On the basis of, you can say, जो हमारे ये थे ना, organized and unorganized, तो वो किसके बेसिस के ऊपर है? Whether they are registered with the government or they are not registered with the government. And third हमने जो देखा, that is on the basis of, you can say, ownership. That is on the basis of ownership. And in the ownership we have got two. That is a public sector. Public sector मतलब क्या होता है? That is government owned, जो government own होता है. And private sector मतलब क्या है? Private people own. Say you can say public sector. Say BSNL is a company which is a government company, and private Reliance is a private company. That is what we have to understand. So there is public sector and there is private sector. If we follow the Indian economy till 1991, from 1947, that is post independence, then we saw that government gave a lot of focus on public sector companies. Government wanted that government should play a very important role in the economy. ये सब हम आगे पढ़ने वाले. What is capitalism, what is socialism, in the future chapters we are going to study, but abhi सिर्फ इतना समझ के लो कि government wanted a lot of public sector companies from 1997 to 1991. Okay, and but public sector companies became inefficient. They were making losses. वो इतना अच्छा growth नहीं कर रहे थे. And economics is all about optimum utilization of resources. Economics is all about optimum utilization of resources. So they were using huge resources, but they were not giving optimum results, and that is why India faced a huge crisis, economic crisis in 1991. That is why we had to start and we have to give permission to capitalist, or you can say we had to give permission to the private, you can say industries, or we had to give, you can say the what we can say, the permission to the private companies, and that is why private companies started increasing after 1991 in India. That is what we have to understand, right? Very very simple. This is thing. Now many times there is question or there is some debate in the news that why do we require government companies? Private companies can do everything. So ऐसा नहीं है. Okay, what there are, you can say, 2-3 reasons. First reason is private company cannot do everything. Are you understanding this? Private companies cannot do everything. Please explain the capitalist point one again. See, I am not explaining the capitalism just now. Okay, चलो मैं आपको बता ही देता हूँ एक शॉर्ट में. सी सोशलिज्म मतलब क्या होता है? वी फॉलोड, यू कैन से सोशलिस्ट टाइप ऑफ इकोनॉमी फ्रॉम 1947 टू 1991. इन सोशलिस्ट इकोनॉमी सिर्फ अभी इतना याद रखो क्योंकि आगे हमारा पूरा एक चैप्टर है, वी वुड डिस्कस दैट इन डिटेल. इन सोशलिज्म जस्ट रिमेंबर दैट मच दैट गवर्नमेंट कंपनीज plays, you can say, major role in economy. Okay, and in capitalism, सिर्फ अभी याद रखो, मैं आपको आगे और अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन करूंगा. In capitalism, private companies plays major role in economy. इतना समझ गया तो भी आपको बस है. आगे एक चैप्टर है पूरा इसके ऊपर ही है, सो हम वहां पे मैं आपको एकदम डिटेल में बता दूंगा सारी चीजें. Okay, this much is understood till now. You understand this much currently? Okay, इतना clear है everybody in the class? This much is clear? Yes or no? Okay. Okay, Monica is saying okay, Swapna is saying okay, Bell is saying okay. So let us go ahead then. So private sector, see why public sector is important, that is what we are discussing. So first, private sector cannot give everything. Private sector cannot give everything. Why they cannot give everything? Say for example, private sector cannot build bridges or they cannot build road in very small villages. Why? With small villages में आप करोगे, कोई टोल भी देगा नहीं. How many people are going to use it? So it is not, you can say, economically viable. So will the private player go and build the bridge or the road there? They would not do that. Are you understanding? Would private people go and, you can say, supply electricity in a village, small village? No, they would come and supply electricity in urban because they can get better demand here. They can earn. Would they go and, you can say, construct dams? No, construction of dams, you require huge money, but the recovery of the money would take 20 years, 30 years. Are you understanding this? So some sectors are there where you need the government to do the work. Are you understanding this? Second reason why, you can say, private sector के साथ government का भी किधर किधर importance है. Say for example, I give you the example of, you can say, public transport. Many people say that why do we need now public transport? Private transport is there, they're doing such excellent job. Now say there is this COVID crisis, okay, and say let us assume that I want to go from Pune to Mumbai, okay, and because of this COVID crisis there is only private. So now usually the rate is, you can say, 400 rupees, but you can say what do? You can say because of the COVID they want to take advantage and they say you want to come, you give 1000 rupees. But say there is only private and all the private come together, they decide there is 1000 rupees. But if there is public transport also, which creates a competition to the, you can say, private, then public transport says okay, I'll take it for 400. So then it implies this pressure on the private, and then they also have to reduce their rates, and there is, you can say, the consumers would not be, you can say, taken for a ride. That is what we can say in this example, or consumers would not be exploited. Plus you can say what would happen, okay, Pune Mumbai to ho gaya, But say for example, from I want to go to Pune to a small town in Satara. Okay, I want to go to small town in Satara. This private would say no, no, will not go because it is not viable. Hardly there are 10 passengers. Yes or no? But you see many times if you have traveled by public, you can say transport. What would happen? Even if there is, you can say 3 passengers, 4 passengers, still you can say the public transport would go there. So that is why it helps us to give those kind of essential services which we have to understand and prevents monopoly. Yes, Prasad. So it also prevents monopoly plus ensures the basic services. ऐसे छोटे छोटे गांव होंगे ना, villages होंगे where private would never go, but the public transport goes there, right? So they are connected to the mainstream. That is why you can say it is required. See, this all is your understanding. अपनी understanding बहुत अच्छे से आपको develop करना है. ये understanding अच्छे से develop करोगे तो आपके answers में ये automatically reflect होगा. And once it gets reflected in your answers, then you would start understanding, you can say, better. But Karthik is saying, but private sector also develops rural areas under CSR. See, CSR is not the main, you can say, commercial activity. CSR matlab kya hai? It is like a donation, and you cannot remain upon donation. You have to understand that. See, when the public sector is plying buses, okay, in the villages, daily they would do that. Daily it would do that. And CSR is, you are dependent upon somebody. If tomorrow they don't do that, you cannot hold them accountable. Yeah, Reliance, you can say, take that bus from that small village in Satara to Pune every day. If you don't do that, it is not good. But if the government does not do that, you can hold government responsible. Are you understanding this? So CSR is very minuscule. कितने हैं private companies जो CSR करते हैं? Okay, they are very very less. You have to understand that. As and when you would go through this economic course and the advanced course, you will understand that, you can say, hardly there are big companies, very few big companies in India. Okay, so you have to understand this. So that is why government is needed. That was what was our point. So similarly, government is also needed to buy. See, nobody is buying for the, again we saw na, farmers, the prices have crashed. The prices have crashed. So what does the government do? We saw yesterday, government announces MSP. What does the government do? Government announces MSP so that the farmers are not in the distress. Plus government, if you cannot afford food, government would afford you the food. So government is required in certain areas. Without government, it is not going to happen. Similarly, school, quality education, everybody cannot afford the, you can say, private education, right? So government has to step in. Similarly, health, if you see health, okay, ये government का काम करना ही पड़ेगा. Safe drinking water, housing facilities, nutrition, all these things, some few things the government would have to, you can say, give. So here we complete the first chapter. If you have any doubts, you can ask. Okay, otherwise we'll just take 3 minutes, you can say, break. Private, yes, private, the complete motive is profit, whereas the government ka jo motive hai, that is public welfare or social welfare. Good, that is the basic, you can say, difference between the both. I hope you are all reading the NCERTs once we are completing them. आप सब पढ़ रहे हो NCERTs? कोई doubt है तो आप please ask करो. Are you understanding the lecture? Please comment so that I can understand. Aniruddha is understanding. Tejal is understanding. Okay, great. Okay, should we go to the next chapter? Okay. Roshan says he's new to the class. Okay, Roshan, welcome. Welcome, Roshan. The previous class sessions you can see on YouTube, Nirav da, जो YouTube channel है Nirav da, you can watch those videos today so that from tomorrow you are completely with us. Okay. So now let us, you can say, go ahead and let us see money and credit. Okay, we are going to see money and credit. Now, if you see money and credit, you have to understand that money plays a very important role. Okay, and today, if whenever we see money, okay, whenever we see money, you have to understand that we usually associate money with the banking system, because money, the banking system is going to play a very important role. Okay, and computerization of banking has happened, so we do all, you can say, e-banking, or you can say all net banking things we are doing. So completely, you can say, money has changed the way it functions, and it has become, you can say, very instantaneously it is transferring from one place to another place. Now if we calculate, if we see the concept that stock of money, if you see the stock of money मतलब क्या है कि public के पास कितना पैसा है अभी. Okay, if you see the stock of money, then how is the stock of money calculated? So there is a very, you can say, easy concept which you have to understand. तो उसके लिए हमको क्या करना पड़ेगा, हमको ये देखना पड़ेगा. Just wait a minute. We'll have to see the concept. What is the concept? The concept is this. Okay, there are deposits. There are deposits. Okay, see, whenever you go into the bank, you make deposits into the bank. These are two type of deposits. Okay, one, say for example, if you deposit the money in the current account, or you deposit the money in the savings account. Current account क्या होता है, जो business के लोग होते हैं ना, business करने के लिए वो खोलेंगे current account. And saving account is normal household, मतलब you and me, you all must be having a savings account. Are you understanding? So we deposit our money in current account or savings account. Okay, so this deposits, my friends, please pay attention, they are called as demand deposits. कौन से deposits बोलेंगे हम इनको? Demand deposits. Why they are called as demand deposits? You can say, deposit any money. I deposit any money into the bank. I can withdraw. Okay, say for example, अभी कितने बजे है? I just transfer the money at 5:18 p.m. into the bank. At 5:20, I can withdraw that money from the bank. Okay, so they are called as demand deposits. So whenever I demand, I can withdraw those deposits. This is what you have to understand. Very basic concept. This is there, right? And another kind of deposits are the recurring deposits or the fixed deposits. आप fixed deposit करते हो, that I would, you can say, keep this money for at least 1 year in FD. Fixed deposit आपने सुना होगा ना? तो ये demand नहीं है. These are called as time deposits. These are called as time deposits. क्या बोलते हैं हम इसको? Time deposits. These are the banking terminologies. और डिटेल में हम अच्छे से banking के सारे terminologies we'll do when we discuss the banking chapter in the advanced economics courses. But you have to understand this. What is this? This is CASA. CASA मतलब क्या होता है? Current account, saving account. तो उसको हम क्या बोलेंगे? Demand deposits. And you can say fixed deposits, और recurring करके भी एक account आता है, हर महीने आप, you can say, 100 रुपए डाल रहे हो उसमें. Okay, so these are called as time deposits because you have frozen them, those deposits, for certain period of time in that, you can say, bank account. That is what we have to understand. So that is why they become the time deposits. Okay, so bank has got this two kind of deposits. So demand deposits, when we say that kitna money hai logon ke paas, okay, how much money is there for using with the people, especially in the economy, then we usually consider demand deposit because they can use it anytime. Plus, what happens is, if you have got, you can say, 100 rupees with you, what you do is you might deposit 80 rupees, but you would keep around 20 rupees with yourself as cash. Because why do people usually keep it in cash? Emergency, कोई situation आ गया, they want to use, or they want to do shopping. Are you understanding? Whatever might be the reason, so they usually have some currency in cash. That is what we have to understand. And when they deposit, the deposits are the two different kinds. That is, one is the demand deposits and other is the cash deposits. Why we do not consider in the money supply abhi kitna paisa hai logon ke paas? Why we do not consider time deposits? Because they are frozen for, you can say, till 1 year. They are not going to use they cannot withdraw that, they are not going to use it. So is that money currently with the, you can say, people? It is usually not, right? So that is why we don't consider that. So ये सारे concepts है, आगे will, you can say, study, but I hope just now you have understood what is the difference between time deposits and, you can say, demand deposits. If you have understood, please write in the chat. If you have any problem, then tell me. I would immediately, you can say, correct that problem. So we have to understand that the stock of money, क्या बोला यहाँ पे, stock of money consists of currency held by public. So I have told you, currency held by public, that is in cash. Currency held by public in cash. Okay, Arushi wants me to explain again. So Arushi, what did we see? You have got some money. You have got 100 rupees. You deposit, say for example, 80 rupees. Are you understanding? And you keep yourself, you can say 20 rupees you are keeping yourself as cash. 20 rupees you are keeping yourself in cash. Now say 80 rupees you are depositing. You can make two type of deposits. Say 50 rupees you can say, and 30 rupees. Say 50 rupees you are depositing in fixed deposit, जो आपके एक साल के लिए फिक्स हो गए. ओके, या you cannot withdraw this or you cannot use that. 30 rupees you are keeping in the your savings account, जो normal account होता है ना बैंक का, savings account, you are keeping 30 rupees in your savings account, right? So how much money can you spend just now? How much money is there which you can spend just now? This much, right? 20 rupees in cash and 30 rupees in savings. That is why you can say this is called as the money with the people. Okay, money supply with the people. Why this? Because this is demand deposit. These are called as demand deposit. Whenever you demand, you can say you can withdraw them. ओके, फॉर बैंक दे बिकम द डिमांड डिपॉजिट, क्योंकि जब भी डिमांड आएगा वो चला जाएगा, उसको कोई गारंटी नहीं है. बट दीज आर टाइम डिपॉजिट्स फॉर बैंक्स बिकॉज दे आर फिक्स फॉर अ टाइम. सो इफ आई टेल यू, Arushi, how much can you spend just now? So you will say, sir, I have 20 rupees and in 30 rupees savings account I have in bank, so I can spend this much, but this I cannot touch because after only 1 year, you can say I have after 1 year the FD, the, you can say, fixed deposit would get mature, and after that I can use that. So I hope you have understood now. Have you understood it? If you have understood, please you can say, tell me. Okay, great. Okay, then we also saw something happened in 2016. What happened? That we had something called as, you can say, we had something called as demonetization. So what is demonetization? Demonetization समझने के लिए हमको क्या समझना पड़ेगा? There is something called as a legal tender. There is something called as the legal tender. What is a legal tender? Okay, so say for example, okay, now ये आप देख रहे हो, this is a 20 rupees note or this is a 5 rupees note, right? So what ये तो पेपर है ना, this is a paper. Are you understanding this? But why this paper, okay, gets value of 20 rupees? अगर ये पेपर बेचने जाओगे तो you will not even get 1 rupees. रद्दी में बेचोगे तो 1 रुपए भी नहीं मिलेगा पेपर का. But the value of this same paper is 20 rupees. Why? Because it is issued by government, and government has given, you can say, that role in India to RBI. Okay, that is why, and government says that this whatever we are issuing is the legal tender. Are you understanding? It is a legal tender. So legal tender का मतलब क्या होता है? What is legal tender? Whatever money the government issues and government by act, by law says that this is a legal tender. That means you can use this for buying and selling purpose in the country. That gets the legal tender, you can say, status. मतलब अगर I go into any shop and I want to have a ice cream and they say that the ice cream is of 5 rupees. Okay, yes, ऐसा अगर कोई शॉप कहाँ पे मिले आप तो जरूर मुझे बताना. But if that shop is that ice cream is for 5 rupees, and if I give this note to that shopkeeper, he is obliged, he has to accept that note and give, you can say, give me the ice cream, because this is a legal tender. Nobody can say no to the legal tender because this is backed by the government. और हमने देखा होता है ना, आरबीआई ने वहां पे लिखा होता है कि you can say promise to pay the bearer the sum of whatever that is, and it is signed, right? So it becomes a legal tender. I hope everybody understands what is the concept of legal tender. Whatever is backed by the government guarantee, that is, you can say, it is said to be the legal tender. So a law legalizes the use of rupee as a medium of payment, and it cannot be refused in selling transactions in India. No individual in India can legally refuse the payment made in rupees. Are you understanding that? That is why rupee has become the legal tender. But what happened in demonetization? जो यही हमारे rupees के नोट थे 500, are you understanding, and 1000 के, right? So they were demonetized. That means from, you can say, 8 November, you can say, announce this. So from 12 a.m. on that very day, so he said that now this notes would not be legal tender, so that if you take this notes into any of the shop or anywhere, then they would not be accepted, and they do not be having the, you can say, the value of 500 and 1000 which we had earlier guaranteed. I hope you've understood this, what is the meaning of legal tender. Have you understood this? Yes or no? बहुत ही simple concept है हमको समझने के लिए. Okay, so now if we go ahead, then what do we see? We see that money has now become the medium of exchange. Money has now become the medium of exchange. How money has become the, you can say, medium of exchange? Because earlier there was no money, and when there was no money, क्या system था? Barter system था. Barter system मतलब क्या है? ये देखो क्या बना रहा है? This guy is making shoes, and this guy is, you can say, selling wheat. So what they will have to do? Wheat इसको देना पड़ेगा, ये इसको shoes देगा. Are you understanding? But this becomes a very very complicated system. Why? This becomes very complicated system because barter system has what? Double coincidence of wants. So this is a key word. What do they have? Double coincidence of want. What is double coincidence of want? इसको wheat चाहिए और इसको अगर shoes चाहिए, then only the transaction is going to happen. If the same, this guy requires shoes and this is, he's ready to sell, and this guy requires wheat and he's ready to sell, then only the transaction can happen. It is such a difficult thing to do. Are you understanding this? So it is such a difficult thing to do. Okay, so that is why you can say the trade was very difficult, और trade होता नहीं था ज्यादा. इसके लिए क्या होता था? विलेजेस, हमने अगर सुना होगा टिल मिडिवल, हम जब हिस्ट्री पढ़ेंगे तब मैं आपको सिखाऊंगा ये चीज. इन मिडिवल व्हाट वी हैड सीन दैट विलेजेस वेर सेल्फ सफिशिएंट. विलेजेस क्या थे? दे वेर सेल्फ सफिशिएंट इन मिडिवल टाइम्स. That is what we have to understand. Okay, that villages were self-sufficient. Okay, but slowly and steadily, what happened? That as money became, you can say, more and more popular, as money became more and more popular, then more and more trade started happening. Why? Because money क्या करता है? Money is this intermediate step. Money becomes this intermediate step. It eliminates the need of डबल कोइंसिडेंस ऑफ वांट्स. उसने एलिमिनेट ही कर दिया ना ये नीड डबल कोइंसिडेंस ऑफ वांट्स का. तो वो क्या बन गया? वो एक इंटरमीडिएट स्टेप बन गया. आर यू अंडरस्टैंडिंग दिस? दिस इज अ वेरी वेरी इजी सिंपल अंडरस्टैंडिंग व्हिच यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. सो यू, दिस गाय वो क्या करेगा? he has got shoes, he sells shoes to whoever requires shoes, and what will he get? Money. Are you understanding? This guy will sell wheat to whoever wants wheat, and this guy would also get money. So now he has money. इसको मनी दे दिया, शूज मिल गया. इसको मनी दे दिया, पॉट्स मिल गए. सो मनी क्या करता है? मनी एक्ट्स एज द इंटरमीडिएट एंड इट एलिमिनेट्स द डबल जो कोइंसिडेंस ऑफ वांट है उसको वो एलिमिनेट कर देता है. दैट इज द बिगेस्ट, यू कैन से, पॉजिटिव ऑफ मनी. That is why what happens, because you can say people started using money, what is going to happen? The trade is going to prosper. ज्यादा से ज्यादा ट्रेड होना पॉसिबल हो गया. If there is no money, you can say, then the trade is very very limited, and the trade only, you can say, कैसे होता था? अगर हमारे गांव में हमने सिस्टम देखा तो बलूतीदारी सिस्टम होता था. बलूतीदारी सिस्टम, व्हाट इज इट? बलूतीदारी सिस्टम इन द villages. Then you can say everybody is there, na? Who is there? A cobbler would be there, a goldsmith would be there. Are you understanding? A blacksmith would be there, or you can say a farmer would be there. Farmer may be different, कोई wheat उगा रहा है, कोई rice उगा रहा है. A barber would be there. All this would be there. And ये सारे जो सर्विस देने वाले हैं वो क्या बोलेंगे? ओके, फार्मर को, अलग अलग फार्मर्स को, ओके, फॉर एंटायर ईयर वी वुड टेक केयर अबाउट योर शूज. फॉर एंटायर ईयर वी कैन टेक केयर अबाउट द, यू कैन से, हम आपको ब्लैक स्मिथ का सारा काम करके देंगे. वी वुड कट योर हेयर, दाढ़ी वाड़ी अच्छा बना के देंगे. और आप हमको क्या देने का है? फॉर 1 year यू कैन गिव अस, यू कैन से 20 kgs ऑफ राइस, 20 kgs ऑफ व्हीट, व्हाटएवर दैट इज. सो ये इंटर विलेज पूरा सिस्टम बन गया था ये सारा. ये दैट इज व्हाट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. एंड देन इट विल बी वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू ट्रेड आउटसाइड द विलेज, राइट? सो when, you can say, money came, the trade increased, and today globalization, we can see, we are not only now having the legal tenders of the, you can say, nation, but आजकल क्या आ गया है? Bitcoin, which is called as also the cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency का भी जमाना आ गया है, so we are going way beyond that. Okay, so currency अगर हम देखें, but modern में when we started using money, so directly we did not use coins, we use grains, we use cattle. Okay, then we started using the metallic coins. When we start history, I would tell you that when did we start using the coins, and earlier coins भी कैसे याद कैसे यूज करते थे, अभी मैं आपको पूछूंगा, तभी आपको याद रहना चाहिए. We used the metallic coins, that is the, you can say, we say the early पंच मार्क कॉइन्स हमने यूज किया. पहले कौन सा टेक्नोलॉजी था? पंच मार्क कॉइन्स. याद रखना, मैं आपको पूछूंगा इन द हिस्ट्री लेक्चर, अर्ली फर्स्ट कॉइन्स व्हिच वी यूज्ड वेर द पंच मार्क कॉइन्स, एंड देन ऑटोमेटिकली जो मॉडर्न कॉइन्स है वो मोर प्रॉपर, दिस आर कॉल्ड एज द मोल्ड कॉइन्स. पंच मार्क कॉइन्स मतलब क्या है? एक शीट है, उसके ऊपर आपने मेटल का शीट है, उसके ऊपर आपने यू कैन से पंच मार दिए, एंड देन यू जस्ट रिमूव दैट कॉइन्स. देन मोल्डेड कॉइन्स आर प्रॉपर्ली मोल्ड्स है, उसमें आप मेटल यू कैन से मेल्ट करोगे, और देन once the metal you can say solidifies, then you can have those proper coins. That is what is the, you can say, modern technology. Okay, so ये सारा currency use होना चालू कर दिया. In modern we don't only use the, you can say, metal, gold, but you can say we also now use the paper. Now let me, you can say, introduce one more concept with you all. Okay, see, when we used metal money, क्या यूज करते थे हम? से फॉर एग्जांपल वी यूज गोल्ड, वी यूज व्हाट, सिल्वर. हमने क्या यूज किया? गोल्ड, सिल्वर. और हम क्या यूज करते थे? से फॉर एग्जांपल कॉपर. ओके, सो व्हाट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड, व्हेन दिस वाज मनी, ओके, देन द मेटल itself had intrinsic value. Metal itself had intrinsic value. मतलब क्या है? If I say that this gold coin is of 10 rupees, if I said in that period of time that this gold coin is 10 rupees, what it also meant is the gold worth जो है, if that you can say gold coin had 1 gram, तो उसका मतलब था उस टाइम पे 1 gram gold used to get at 10 rupees. So the coins had intrinsic value. That is, the gold itself was worth 10 rupees, whatever that gold was there in the coin. I hope you are understanding this, that each, you can say, money, metal had an intrinsic value. But today what we are using is paper currency, as I told you. Okay, say for example 20 rupees या 10 rupees का जो paper है, does that paper, does the value of paper, is the value of paper 10 rupees? No, the value of paper is not 10 rupees. The value of paper might be, you can say, 10 paisa. The value of paper might be 10 paisa, but that note is getting the value, note is getting the value of 20 rupees. Why? Because it is a legal tender. Because it is a legal tender, other word is because it is a fiat money. दूसरा word क्या होता है इसके लिए? It is a fiat money. Fiat money is the other word which is, you can say, उसका understanding क्या है? Money, you can say, issued, money issued by government is called as the fiat money. So government मतलब in India the government gives that power to RBI. Government gives that power to RBI. Because it is a fiat money, because it is a legal tender, a paper which is only 10 paisa worth, you are giving the value to it as 20 rupees. So this is nothing but a token currency. इसको क्या बोलते हैं हम? This is the example of token currency. Why it is a token currency? Because the paper itself does not have any intrinsic value. It gets value because it is a legal tender or it is a fiat money. I hope you have understood this. समझा है कि आपको ये concept कैसे, you can say, money में भी, currency में भी, from, you can say, currency which had intrinsic value, now we have gone to money which has no intrinsic value. It is a token currency. And why we are following that token currency? Because the government, okay, is promising us and government is issuing it. Richa, fiat money is just that money which the government is issuing. Just because government issue कर रहा है, government बोल रहा है कि ये जो money है 20 rupees note is 20 rupees, just because government is saying we have to accept that and we are giving the value to that note of worth 20 rupees, right? Otherwise that, you can say, paper, अगर आप ये paper देखोगे तो this paper would hardly be costing you 20 पैसा, right? पहले कैसे होता था? metal use करते थे ना आप, you used to use metal. Are you understanding this? You used to use metal. Okay, okay, again I have to, I'll explain so that you all people, you can say, understand the entire thing. See, okay, I'll repeat, don't worry. See, earlier form में क्या था? There is metal currency. मेटल करेंसी मतलब क्या है? गोल्ड. Okay, say gold is of worth, you can say 10 rupees. Coin कितना लिखा है? The coin, the amount written on the coin is 10 rupees. Okay, what was, somebody's mic is on. Whose mic is on? Gaurav, please unmute your mic. It is disturbing everybody. Okay. So what was the system was that if you see gold, right? So if that coin, it was written on the coin that this is 10 rupees coin. That meant that if this gold was 1 gram, the value of gold itself was 10 rupees. ओके, तो भले इस पे लिखा हो 10 रुपए या नहीं 10 रुपए लिखा हो, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. व्हाई? द गोल्ड का वैल्यू ही उतना था. ओके, दैट कॉइन का वर्थ था. सो दैट इज व्हाई वी से दैट दैट करेंसी हैड इंट्रिंसिक वैल्यू, दैट इज उसका मेटल का ही वैल्यू था उतना. ओके, बट टुडे व्हाट आर वी यूजिंग? वी आर यूजिंग टोकन करेंसी. What is the greatest example of token currency? Paper. Paper is the greatest example of the token currency. How we are using this as a token currency? Paper, say 20 rupees note. Okay, 20 rupees note. Does that paper has, you can say, intrinsic value of 20 rupees? No. The paper has intrinsic value of only, say, you can say 10 paisa. उसका कितना होगा? It is only having 10 paisa. But still we are giving it a value. We are giving it a value of what? 20 rupees. Why? Because government says it is a legal tender by law. Okay, and इसको इसके लिए हम क्या बोलते हैं? It is also called the fiat money, because the money which is issued by the government, government ने एक fiat निकाला. Fiat मतलब क्या होता है? एक आदेश निकाला है गवर्नमेंट ने, आदेश. और you can say government has brought some, you can say, rule, or government has brought some policy that you have to accept this. And why we are accepting this? Because we have selected the government. Yes or no? Government of India है ना, so we have given the powers for this government to take decisions for us. That is why it becomes a fiat money, the money which is issued by the government. It is also called as the fiat money. That is why we accept this paper, which might be only of 10 paisa, but we are giving the value of, you can say, 20 rupees to that. That is why it is called as a token currency. क्यों token? हम टोकन यूज कर रहे हैं ना, पेपर यूज कर रहे हैं. पेपर को कोई वैल्यू नहीं है, बट जस्ट बिकॉज गवर्नमेंट सेज इट, that is why we are giving it the value of 20 rupees. I hope you have understood this. Everybody, now have you understood the concept? Yes or no? Should we go ahead? Okay, everybody's understood. Okay, great. Now if we go ahead, okay, now all this money, hardly people are keeping with themselves. Majorly they keep all this money. Okay, ये पैसा सारा कहाँ पे रखते हैं? So majorly they are keeping all this money in banks. Okay, why they are keeping it banks? Because so many advantages are there keeping the money in bank. First advantage is, if you keep the money in bank, automatically the bank pays you interest on the deposits. That is the biggest thing. Say I kept 100 rupees and next year I go, the money became 104 rupees. Okay, so that is the biggest advantage, that I am earning interest on my money when I am keeping the deposits. Second, I keep 100 rupees in my pocket, and you can say I forgot somewhere, or somebody stole that money from my pocket. So there is always a, you can say, threat of stealing, but the money in the bank is safe. Plus I can withdraw it anytime. Are you understanding? And another advantage, what which was a revolutionary, you can say, at that time, was check payment. That is, once you deposit the money in the bank, once you, that this was very revolutionary. Why? You have to understand this. You have deposited money, kahan pe money? In the bank. Okay, so you don't have it in the physical format with yourself, and then directly this money which is deposited in the bank, you can directly transfer this money to somebody else's bank without you taking the delivery in the hand, or without you having it in the physical format. Are you understanding this? So this is completely a great advantage, that is called as the check payment, that without you again converting that deposit into cash, आपको कैश में कन्वर्ट करने की जरूरत नहीं है, directly that can go into somebody other's bank account. And on this check payment, today we have built the entire, you can say, e-banking, और हम जो net banking बोलते हैं, we have entirely built on this, you can say, system. So if you see check, you have to understand what is the check, right? Say for example, ये check किसने लिखा हुआ है? So Mr. Salim ने check निकाला हुआ है. It is going to pay to whom? You can say Prem. And because the check has to be, you can say, double उसको ये किया हुआ है, you have to write in alphabets also. you have to write in numbers also. Then there you also have to write the date, because nowadays what is the rule is, after the date only the check can be honored within the 3 months. If you don't honor the check within the 3 months of the date, then the check would not be, you can say, it cannot be honored after that, right? यहाँ पे क्या लिखा हुआ है, यहाँ पे account number of this guy who is writing the check, okay, Mr. Salim, उसका लिखा हुआ है, यहाँ पे बैंक के सारे details लिखे हुए हैं, यहाँ पे ये check number है, this is the check number which is there, and this shows that this is a account payee. That is what is going to happen, the money is going to grow from Mr. Salim's bank account, directly it has to go to Mr. Prem's bank account. Are you understand? Directly it has to go to Mr. Prem's bank account. Prem cannot, you can say, take cash. It cannot take cash. If there was no crossing of the check, not written payee account, then it would have been called as the bearer's check. It would have been called as bearer's check. Radha says, sir, in ancient history, not in ancient history, Middle history. Middle history, Muhammad bin Tughlaq used token currency. It means it doesn't authorized by government. No, it was authorized by government. He used the token currency. Are you understanding? That means क्या किया उसने same यही चीज करना चाह रहा था in a medieval period. Muhammad bin Tughlaq tried to use token currency. That is, what did he do? जो ये था in his time period, what happened? What did he try to do is, जो say for example, I'll just give you an example to make you understand. Say bronze coin है, okay, bronze coin value might be only 10 rupees, but he equated the bronze coin value to silver coin. Okay, so he said that this bronze coin from today would have, you can say, 100 rupees value. Okay, but what he could not stop is now people started forging this. घर पे लोग सब bronze coin बनाने लगे, and everybody, you can say, what did they do? You can say वो silver coin use ही नहीं करते थे, and they used to say that the ruler has said this bronze coin would be 100 rupees. Are you understanding this? So then that is why the system collapsed. Say imagine if everybody of you also have paper and you can make notes at home, okay, and only RBI is not allowed, okay, then क्या होगा? पूरा system ही collapse हो जाएगा. That is why the system collapsed. That we'll study in the history part. Don't worry about that much. But it was also token currency. It was also fiat currency. Why? Because the government, that is at that time Muhammad bin Tughlaq, had made it official, but it could not work because people, you can say, did forgery in that, or people, you can say, people ने वो घर पे बनाना चालू कर दिया. हम नोट घर पे नहीं बना सकते हैं. Yes. Okay. So that was the thing. So check, I hope you have understood check, you have understood what is account payee, and if this is not, account payee is not written, then if you can, this Prem Kumar, if this account payee was not written, if you would have presented the check into his bank, then he could have also we could have also got cash. That is what we have to understand in a very, very simple and straightforward manner, right? So deposits का importance हमको देख लिया, but now see, you have to understand, now I'm going to, you can say, tell again, introduce a very important concept in banking with you all. Okay, see, here are banks and here are we individuals. Okay, when we deposit money, okay, when we deposit money into the bank, what is that deposit? हमारे लिए deposit क्या होगा? Asset. For us it would be a asset. Why it would be a asset for us? Okay, so for individuals, what we can write here is, for individuals the deposits are assets. Why? Because these are the money which are safe in bank, plus they are going to earn interest on that. But you can say when the money comes, you can say this deposits, when they come into the banks, for the banks they are liabilities. For the bank they are liabilities. Why? Because sometime in the future they will have to return this money back to the individual. तो उसके लिए क्या हो गया? Liability हो गया. It is just like the banks have taken a loan. Are you understanding this? And दूसरा liability क्यों हो गया? Not only, say for example individual, say for example Bell has, you can say, kept 100 rupees, you can say, in the bank. Okay, what would Bell expect? Next year she would get 104 rupees. Next year she would get 104 rupees, right? So that becomes a liability for the bank. Why that becomes a liability for the bank? Because bank has to earn more and give them. So that is why bank needs to earn from somewhere. So what does bank do? If they have got 100 rupees, 15 rupees they would keep in cash. Let us not go into detail. Banking हम पूरा करेंगे advanced course में. But 15 rupees it keeps in cash. Why it keeps in cash? Because these are all demand deposits. Anytime, you can say, जो जिसने deposit किया है, Bell or Swapna or say Prasad, they would come and they would say, bank, I want my money back. So for safety they have kept the 15 rupees you can say, with them in cash, and rest of the 85, what they will do, okay, they would loan it out. They would loan it out. You have to understand, everybody, all the depositors are not going to come at one time. Otherwise, you will say, how sir, everybody would come at one time. That does not happen. That only happens when people lose confidence in the bank. That is called as the bank run. That is called as the bank run, when the people lose confidence in the bank and everybody wants to, you can say, remove their deposits. Like it happened recently with PMC Bank, that is Punjab Maharashtra Cooperative Bank, or it also happened with the, you can say, जो Yes Bank था. Okay, but वो usually नहीं होता अगर अच्छा बैंक है तो. 85 gives loan. So now if you can say they are giving 4% interest rate, okay, they would give loan on say 10%, and they would earn, you can say, 6%. उनका ये क्या होगा, earning होगा. उसमें से out of this earning they would, you can say, infrastructure cost, labor cost, all this cost वो लोग निकालेंगे, and they would also have the profit. Okay, and then they can give 4% return back to the individual who has deposited 100 rupees. Have you understood, you can say, how the entire banking is working? The deposits for the individuals are assets, these deposits for the banks are liabilities. When banks give loan, when banks give loan at, you can say, 10%, the loan which bank has given, now pay attention, the loans which bank has given, they become assets for loan, because वहां से बैंक कमाने वाला है. And if these loans have been taken by individuals, for individuals they would be liabilities. Now the circle is complete. Have you understood this, everybody? Okay, so individuals के लिए deposit asset है, banks के लिए deposit liability है, बैंक के लिए लोन क्या है, it is a, you can say, asset, and for individuals you can say the loan क्या है, loan, it is a liability. Are you understanding this? So yes, everybody is understood. Great. Now let us go ahead. Okay, now if we go ahead, what do we find? Okay, so that is what the banks are doing. So bank people make deposits, यहाँ पे देखो people make deposits. So for bank this is a liability. Then bank, you can say, क्या करेगा, इसको लोन दे देगा, ऐसे लोग आएंगे जो लोन दे देगा, so इनका ये asset बन जाएगा. Then they would repay. So say for example bank gives, यहाँ पे आपने easy रखते हैं 100 rupees रखे. Okay, so 100 rupees रखे and bank gives 100 rupees loan. Okay, so then they would give 110 back to the bank. Out of this, the bank would give 104 to these people again, and bank would earn 6 rupees. That is profit. Not entire 6 rupees is profit, but it would have to take labor cost, infrastructure cost, electricity cost, all those costs are there, and whatever would be the remaining, that would be the profit. This is how the essentially the banking business runs. Okay, very simple to understand. So loan, giving loan is the basic function. Okay, but giving loan is the basic function of the bank. I hope everybody of you have understood. Very simple, very you can say simple thing which we have tried to explain. Everybody understood, yes or no? Okay, Pooja says yes. Okay, yes, Tejal, Swapna, Shagufta, Richa, Arushi, everybody's understood. Okay, great. Okay, very simple. Now see this, credit plays a very important role. Credit मतलब क्या है, loan plays a very important role in a economy, very important role. अभी भी देखो आप bailout packages जो government ने निकाला है, the bailout package of the government, it focuses on credit, it focuses on loans. Why it is very important, you will understand that. See, it is a festival season. Very beautiful case study they have given. What they have said is, Salim, who is, you can say, a shoe manufacturer, he has got a great order, big order, 3,000 pairs of shoes he has to deliver, as it is a festival season in a month's time. Now for this new order, Salim will have to hire, you can say, workers for stitching, pasting, then he has to purchase a lot of raw material, right? But you can say he might not have that much working capital, Salim. So what does he does? He gets loan from two sources. From where does he get a loan? He get a loan from his, you can say, supplier of leather. Okay, you take the leather just now, I will and give the payment later. So it is a credit. उसको अभी leather free में मिल गया, ऐसे ही समझ गो. Okay, and then he also gets advance payment from the trader who had given, you can say, the 3,000 pairs का shoes का उसने order दिया था ना, तो he gives 1,000 pairs shoes payment right just now. So he gets money there also. So he can use that money. Leather तो almost free में मिला है. He can use that money for hiring people. Are you understanding? And then he creates, you can say, manufactures all that order within a month. He sells them at good profit. And सोचो आप 3,000 शूज उसने बेच दिए, कितना ज्यादा प्रॉफिट हो गया. अगर उसको ये लोन नहीं मिलता, इफ ही वुडंट हैव गॉट दिस लोन क्रेडिट, then he would have been in, he wouldn't have, you can say, sold so much, he wouldn't have got profit. So credit, if it is used in the right way, if you to get the credit in the right, you can say, from the right source, you can have amazing profit. That is what you have to understand. But Swapna is completely different. Swapna's issue, the credit leads to more trouble. She is groundnut owner, she goes to money lender, wrong channel, high interest rate, and then she takes the money, she buys pesticides and everything, but still you can say the crop is gone, she is in more debt, and now she has to sell off the part of her land. So credit can take you very up, or it can take you very very down, and it can also take you to the debt trap, what we have to understand. So credit plays a very very important role if you want to develop the economy. That is why हम जब आगे पढ़ेंगे एडवांस इकोनॉमी में, तो देयर इज अ रेशो, व्हाट इज क्रेडिट, यू कैन से, टू जीडीपी रेशो. जितना ज्यादा बैंक्स क्रेडिट दे रहे हैं, इट इज अ गुड साइन. दैट मींस यू कैन से बिजनेसेस आर टेकिंग द लोन्स, that means the businesses are taking the loans to expand their manufacturing, to create, and when they expand their manufacturing, it is going to create new jobs, new demand, because more people would have salary, more people have salary, they would buy more things, they buy more things, automatically the economy would grow even more. So credit is a good thing if the business people are taking that, right? See, usually क्या होना चाहिए, whenever you are taking credit, it should be for creation of assets, right? Nobody should take a credit for daily needs. Say for example, I want to buy milk, or I want to buy some food grains, and I am taking loan for that. That is not done, right? So credit is usually taken for assets. That is why credit to GDP ratio is very very important, my friends. That is what you have to understand. But as I have told you from the very first day, in the economics and in life, there are no free lunches, there are no free lunches, and as there are no free lunches, you have to understand the terms of credit would be there would be some different term of credit. What are these different terms of credit which you have to understand? So in short, if we see कि बाबा आपको अगर लोन लेना है, so whatever is the agreement between the bank and you, these were the terms of credit. उसमें क्या क्या होगा in that agreement? How much you are going to take the loan, for what duration you are going to take the loan, what are the documents you have to submit, what is the interest rate we are going to charge you. So that is going to be very very clear in that, what is going to be the interest rate, right? Then what is going to be the mode of repayment, आप कैसे repay करोगे, EMI कैसे होगा, that is equated monthly installments, and are you keeping anything as a collateral, are you keeping anything as a collateral, that is also going to be, you can say, calculated. So these are all called as the terms of credit. So if you see, then what is most important in terms of credit, the collateral. Are you understanding this? And what is the problem with this collateral, what is the problem with this collateral, we'll see that the problem is that the poor people don't have collateral. Are you understanding? Say some, you can say, why this जो हमारी स्वप्ना है, okay, why she did not go to the bank and take the loan, she could have got it at much better interest rate, government could have helped her if, you can say, her this crops have failed, but she went to a money lender. Are you understanding? And money lender is not going to help her, it, in fact, the money lender would exploit. Are you understanding this? So that is why, because she did not have the collateral. This again, you can say, these all examples are just trying to, you can say, tell us what are the different kinds of loans which a person can take. Okay, one more very beautiful example is loan from cooperatives. What is the example? That is the loan from cooperatives. So what is this loan for cooperatives? Cooperatives matlab kya hai? You form a organization. I have already told you, you form an organization. In that organization, everybody comes together. Okay, and then everybody, say for example, contributes. Say every month everybody contributes 100 rupees. There would be a fund. Okay, ये fund कितने का बन गया? Say for example, this fund becomes 10,000 rupees. Okay, and then you can loan this to anyone who requires it. Are you understanding this? And the loan can be at a very, you can say, affordable rate. Loan can be at a very affordable, you can say, rate. अफोर्डेबल रेट में काफी आप लोन दे सकते हो. सो दिस कॉपरेटिव्स आर वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. सिमिलरली ह्यूज कॉपरेटिव बैंक्स आर नाउ देयर एस्टैब्लिश्ड इन इंडिया. ओके, तो इससे क्या होता है, द पुअर पीपल और द फार्मर्स और द रूरल पीपल कैन गेट लोन्स एट अफोर्डेबल rates. Okay, even sometimes when they don't have collateral. So this cooperatives play a very very important role. Like farmers cooperatives there, weavers cooperative is there, industrial cooperatives are there. Okay, now let us see a important, you can say, part of this chapter, that is formal sector. Okay, abhi formal sector matlab kya hai? देखो, ओके, फॉर्मल सेक्टर इन क्रेडिट. सो फॉर्मल सेक्टर मतलब क्या होता है? व्हाट इज द फॉर्मल सेक्टर? फॉर्मल सेक्टर इज वेरी वेरी इजी. ओके, all those all those who come under the regulations of RBI, if they are regulated. देखो यहाँ पे RBI supervises the functioning of formal sources of loan. So if you are regulated by RBI, okay, and you give loans, you come under the formal sector. So the chances that you exploiting people, chances of you exploiting people are very very low, minimum, because RBI is keeping a watch and RBI would not want that you are exploiting people. Okay, but if you are not supervised by RBI, you are not regulated by RBI, you would be under informal. So money lender is not going to be supervised by RBI. So that guy is going to go into informal. That is why the money lender can easily exploit people. Like you can say Swapna, and then Swapna's land would be grabbed by this money lender. Are you understanding this? So हमारे यहाँ पे situation क्या है कि जो poor है, okay, those poor, they have to depend upon this informal sector for loan. Now if you see this is very, you can say, old data, 2012 data. If you see what is it given, that commercial banks, okay, and you can say cooperative banks, दोनों हमने अगर मिला दिए, so only 50%, only 50% of the जो rural Indian households का credit you can say जो demand है, the entire credit demand, if 100 rupees loan is needed in rural India, only 50 rupees is provided, you can say, by this banks, and then some government would provide some, other institutional agencies would provide some. But if you see, then what happens is money lender is 33% still. This is in 2012, so many years, more than 60 years have gone past after independence, and still people have to depend upon the money lenders, and then they are going to get exploited. They might even lose their land, and then you can say they can go even into more poverty. They go into poverty, they don't have proper health, education, and then India suffers because human capital formation is not happening in India. I hope you understood what I am saying. It is very very important, right? अगर आप देखोगे तो ये यहाँ पे यही बताया, इनफॉर्मल जो है दे वुड चार्ज मच हायर इंटरेस्ट रेट. सो ऑल दिस दोज हु आर इनफॉर्मल, दे वुड चार्ज मच हायर इंटरेस्ट रेट, right? And then what would happen is, you can say, they would go into much more poverty. That is what I have already told you. Now this is very very important graph. देखो क्या बताता है ये, poor households. If you see this, this is in, you can say, purple. If you could see this, so 85% of the poor households, and this is where, this is in urban areas. So 85, even in urban areas, 85% of the poor households have to depend upon the informal sector. Then 53 of the households which have got few assets, they are also depending upon informal sector. Then those who are well off, okay, they are only 28% depend upon the, you can say, this. And those who are rich, yes or no, हम देखते हैं, those who are rich, they can easily get money from the bank. So hardly 10% they are depending upon the informal sector, and majorly they are taking all the loans from banks. That is the formal sector. So we should reverse this. We should not reverse this, sorry, but what we should do is, we should improve the condition of these people. They should also be able to take it from the formal sector. They should also be able to take from formal sector. Okay, but what is the main problem? That they do not get from the formal sector because they don't have loans. They don't have collateral to give. They don't have collateral to give. और उनके पास collateral नहीं है, इसके लिए उनको क्या नहीं मिल रहा है? Loans. And because they don't get loans, then they cannot increase the business. We saw, right, how Salim increased his business because he got the loan, and he increases the business, more profit, and automatically they give more importance to education and health. India develops, human capitalization forms. तो मेन प्रॉब्लम क्या आ रहा है? कोलैटरल नहीं है, इसके लिए पुअर लोगों को लोन्स नहीं मिल रहे हैं. सो ब्यूटीफुल, you can say, solution for that is a self-help group. What is a beautiful solution? It is a self-help group. What is a self-help group? Again, the similar concept. In a village, say for example 50 women come together, okay, they contribute, okay, the money, okay, they contribute the money, and the amount is, say for example 10,000, and then they can loan that money to somebody in the village who is requiring that money without collateral. Okay, why they can, you can say, loan that money to somebody in the village? Because ये सब साथ में रह रहे हैं ना, they are all living in the same village for so many years, so they can have proper, you can say, check. They can have a proper check that if we have given somebody 10,000 rupees, what are they using it for? Are they using it for building assets, like say farming में वो लोग you can say seeds अच्छे खरीद रहे हैं, या फिर they are using some tractor or whatever that is, and they are not wasting the money. Okay, plus if the self-help group is working, you can say for you can say many years, and it is working very very nicely, then what do banks do? Banks also tie up. Banks also tie up with this self-help group. So if self-help group's own fund is 10,000, okay, then bank would also fund them, say for example more 10,000, so that the self-help group has 20,000 to lend. Are you understanding? The bank also gives them without any collateral. Why? Because they are doing a very beautiful work. So this self-help group is a solution. Self-help group is a, you can say, great boon. And self-help group, due to self-help group, the poor people can also get loans. And you have to understand, in India, 90% of the self-help groups are formed by women, and then they would have this kind of meetings. They would, you can say, have various, you can say, they can also start this various enterprises, right? Grameen Bank. So Grameen Bank is in Bangladesh. They do it without, you can say, this. Okay, why? Poor farmers use their small lands as, see, Arushi, you have to understand, जो poor farmers है ना, okay, poor farmers. Okay, so if they want loan, the banks would be hesitant. Okay, see, what is the truth of the world, that if you want 100 rupees loan, banks usually try to have at least 120 rupees worth of, you can say, collateral. Are you understanding this? Okay, and bank is not only dependent upon collateral one, but bank would also see that this guy is a small and marginal farmer, so hardly this guy is going to get any surplus. Hardly this guy is going to get any surplus to, you can say, sell in the market. Whatever he would grow, most of it would go in the household consumption. तो घर पे ही सारा consume हो जाएगा, right? So hardly is this guy is going to get any surplus. This guy does not get any surplus. He's not going to sell anything. No profit, much profit. How is this guy going to? What is this guy's capacity to pay me back? Hardly this is going to be very very, you can say, less. Are you understanding this? Okay. So that is why you can say this self-help groups then come in, and then self-help groups, you can say, they would loan to the people. If say this farmer wants to now buy, you can say, buffalo, or wants to buy cow, then the self-help group would fund them, and then you can say when the he sells the milk, he can return back to self-help group. Okay, so self-help group is just grouping of women together, or grouping of people together, and then they all contribute their money, and because they are of the same villages, then what happens is, you can say, they can have better check on the people who are giving, whom they are giving the loan. And then once they give the loans, they give the credit, automatically the economy in the villages prosper, because it creates, somebody might start, you can say, a papad business, yes or no, and then employ people. Somebody might start a pickle business and employ. Somebody might start a handicraft business, or somebody might, as I've told you, start a dairy business, and then you can say employment grows, job opportunity grows. Okay, automatically the, you can say, the village, जो GDP है वो grow होता है, and the cake becomes bigger, and everybody, you can say, starts getting a bigger, you can say, share in that. And I have told you that, you can say, responsible or repayment of the loan, then self-help group, because they are in the village and they would have this kind of meetings, so they would always have a, you can say, check on the people, and then the people would pay them, and banks would also be very very happy to lend to self-help groups, because banks would ensure that the payment is done in a very proper way. And when they meet in this such kind of meetings, then with credit छोड़ के बाकी के भी issues discuss होंगे, like health, nutrition, domestic violence. So this is all, you can say, very very nicely shaped. So Grameen Bank, which is a, you can say, example of Bangladesh, and you can say its founder is Mohammad Yunus, who also got the Nobel Prize. Okay, so did similar things. So all the self-help groups were made, and then the banks gave, you can say, them the loans. And these are also, you can say, called this loans. ये जो loans है इनको क्या बोलते हैं? Microfinance. This is also called as microfinance loans. Okay, and what is the speciality of this microfinance loans? You have flexibility. You have flexibility of payment. मतलब क्या है कि ठीक है, first 3 months you don't pay. Okay, or you can say first 6 months you don't pay. Once the milk production starts, or you can say when your handicraft gets, you can say, sold in the market, you pay. So EMI का भी उनका सारा flexibilities होता है. Are you understanding this? So a lot of flexibilities are given so that this poor people can take the loan without collateral. And basically जो rural India है वहाँ पे हमने देखा है ना, हमको jobs create करने हैं, so rural India can then progress. So self help group is a very beautiful, you can say, this which we need to all, you can say, understand. Okay, I hope you have understood how the self help group works, and main, you can say, function of self help group is without collaterals the poor can get loans. Okay, so today's assignment, what is the today's assignment? You have to do HDG, आगे का HDG करना है आपको. Next your assignment would be basically you do the Factories Act and you do the Shops and Establishments Act. Shop and Establishments Act आपको करना है. I hope you have already done the assignment on Oxfam report on inequality. If you have not done Oxfam report on inequality, तो ये भी आपको करना है, इतना सारा करना है. Please submit your assignments on, you can see जो नीरव दा का जो Telegram group है, on that the discussion forum is there. Please submit. I want everybody's assignment to be there. I hope you have understood everything today. Okay. Can they take loans to NABARD? Yes, NABARD also helps. NABARD also gives, you can say, loans to this self-help groups. Okay, NABARD, have we done an assignment on NABARD? Yes or no? Have we done an assignment on NABARD? NABARD पे किया है क्या हमने assignment? Yes. तो NABARD का क्या full form है? उनका rural development का ही काम है, और rural development में SHGs play a very important role. So automatically NABARD are also going to give a lot of loans to SHGs. Not a problem. Or NABARD might also reroute the money from, you can say, the commercial banks or the cooperative banks to the SHGs. Okay, so I hope you have understood all the things today. Okay, so tomorrow let us meet at the same time, and tomorrow we'll not only complete this NCERT, but we would start with the 11th standard NCERT also. Okay, so that will do. Please tell the points to be added in Oxfam report. So please share, आप share करो Monica in the group your assignment, tag me if you want, and then we can do the review of that. Okay, so so we have completed, you can say, 2 chapters. So tomorrow we'll meet again at 4 p.m. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy, stay focused. Okay, chalo, bye bye.